even if they don't need to present on a stage or present at a meeting, it gives them confidence. It helps them know that they can do it. And it helps them become just a confident person in communication, in conversations, in building relationships.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. Greetings, business stars. Knowing how to give a powerful presentation is important for all entrepreneurs. Regardless of whether you see yourself as a salesperson, you're constantly selling your business. And that's why we're talking with today's guest, Natasha Bazilevych. She's the founder and president of ChangeView Academy, where she trains entrepreneurs and corporate executives to give powerful presentations.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, Natasha.
Thank you so much. Tanya and Michael, I should say. I always say that it's exciting. Yes, I'm really excited to be here because it's my passion to talk about this. And especially if I can help other people get better and share something, that's even better.
Well, you're a joy. We actually were on your podcast not too long ago. And for all of our listeners, she's just, you're going to learn here today. She knows about what she's talking about, and she's got a fantastic story, actually. So, Natasha, if you wouldn't mind, can we start by talking a little bit? You're from Ukraine, and actually, do you want to tell that story about your departure from Ukraine right before this late unpleasantness that we were hearing about?
Yes, actually, I came to the US 2 weeks before the war started and 1 week before the airlines stopped flying. And actually, when I was leaving, we hoped that it wouldn't happen. We were not sure that the war, of course, there were these suspicions and fears that it would happen, but everybody in Ukraine hoped that it wouldn't, of course. But my friends in the US, my company is in the US, and I have lots of friends here who are like family. I've been coming here for 20 years. That's why it was easy for me to come here. But my friends here, they heard that the embassy already evacuated, American embassy evacuated from Ukraine, from Kiev, and they started worrying. So they were the ones who called me and said, no, you're coming. You got to come. So we made the decision in like a few hours. I said, okay, let me think, let me pray, let me wait. And I waited like 1 hour. I thought about everything and we made the decision. So we got the ticket right away. And it took me 1 week to just pack all my apartment, ship it to my mom's and pack a suitcase and get to the US. So yes, it was really fast, but it was I was fortunate to actually be able to do that, because then I was here and I was watching all people cramming into trains and trying to get out and not being able to get out. And I remember this image of the Kiev railway station when there was so many people. There was like just crowds next to each other, no space between them. And they were panicking, and someone shot a gun in the air just to probably stop that panic. I don't know if you watched that little video, because they repeated it many times. Yeah, it was so scary because yes, all these people, they're trying to get on the train and get to the western part of Ukraine because it's safer there. Right. And then there's so much screaming and panicking that someone had to shoot to calm that down. And
the crowd. These are things you don't think about until you see it. That's talk about being bold. My goodness.
I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're so glad you're safe, and what lovely friends you have.
For sure.
I know. I have a wonderful friend here. Well, I have lots of friends in the US, but this one particular friend, she's been like a family to me for 22 years. We met in 2000, and I'm here. I'm in her house, and she even made this place for me in her basement where I record videos and do podcasts. And I just taught a seminar, a workshop for Microsoft, and it was right here from her basement with my little studio that I created here. So super grateful. And it's important to be bold, and it's also important to be grateful because without that,
you have to have both. But this doesn't sort of fall into what you do. I mean, ChangeView Academy. right? Like this is the same mentality that helped you create this. Do you want to talk about that for a minute? You want to talk about that, what ChangeView can do for people and entrepreneurs?
Yes. Well, actually, speaking about branding and about studying a business, actually, when I started ChangeView Academy and I studied with I found some investors, some of my friends who invested because my idea was to teach English to the Chinese students. Because I found out that, okay, now online English is going to grow. And that was 2016. And we knew that until 2020, there was marketing research that it would really grow exponentially. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to create this online school. Well, little did I know that China is a totally different beast. They live in a different cyberspace. They don't have Facebook, Google, all of that is banned, Instagram, any of that. They have a different platforms. And so it was super hard for me. And we failed basically in the first year. I still have partners there and clients that I continue working with, and I created courses for them. And I went to China and trained hundreds of teachers there. But business itself, my company, couldn't focus on that market anymore. And so that's when we have to be bold to pivot. And I actually changed direction and I started teaching not just presentation skills. First, it was personal development skills and personal development trainings and courses. And finally, after the pandemic, I understood that actually people are more interested in presentation skills. And because this was something that I had been teaching for 15 years, for whatever, like 13 by that year, and now 15, and it's my passion. That's when I decided, okay, I'm focusing, I'm niching down, and I'm going to give people this amazing skill and teach them public speaking and presentation skills, because this is something that we all need.
Hey, I love that. Let's focus on that for just a second if we can. So has that really exponentially helped your business now that you've niched that down to be able to do that? Because this is something we talk about in BrandFace all the time, and just how important that really is. It's made a difference in my business, made a difference in BrandFace. It's very important that you focus on sometimes a much smaller group of clientele, and people think that's going to harm them somehow. But what's your words to that? What would you say?
Yeah, so many people, and I had the same feeling. I thought, well, how can I focus on just one demographic or just one group of people? How can I focus just on one skill? What about others? I can do so much more.
Right.
Or there are so many more people that I want to cover and to help. But actually, when we focus, and you know this and you teach this, when we niche down, then we're able to make it more powerfully. Then we take away all the confusion from people's minds, who we are and what we do. Then they look at us and they know, okay, she's a public speaking expert. She's a public speaking coach. So they know what to come to us for. And if I want later, I can keep teaching my other creativity and habit building and time management skills. But this is something that I love the most. So another thing is when you guys are thinking how to niche down, what to pick something that you love, that you're passionate about.
Number 2, folks.
Takeaway number 2. Yeah. And you know what I love about your story, Natasha, is because you didn't start there. You didn't start and say, I'm going to do presentations, but the organic journey that you took allowed you to see what truly was the most important to you. And you utilized that skill and that talent. And I can tell you that throughout my journey, I found the same thing. I worked with, I started working selling vacuum cleaners door to door. Then I went to radio, and then I went from there to open up an agency that consulted media companies, TV, newspaper, and radio. And then I got to a point where I realized, okay, for whatever reason, this part just they weren't adapting quickly enough. The media world wasn't to the digital world, the traditional media to the digital world. And so I realized, shoot, that's, not what it's kind of like China, when you say a lot of things are forbidden there and they don't have the same platform. So you have those restrictions. And that forced me to look and understand what was most important and what I was so passionate about. And that was helping people put their best personal brand forward, put their best face forward for their business, and tell their story, just like you're doing right here today.
Right.
telling your story. And I love how there's such synergy here. And I think people listening to us right now will understand that synergy because they too, hardly anybody starts off right in the beginning of their any career and ends up right where they started, right?
Oh, yeah. You have to be flexible to that.
You
right?
sure do.
And pivot, like you said, such a great word because we have to do that so many times. And then there's another takeaway I got to point out, like folks, all to the listeners out there, like you're talking to a young lady, number one, who's well-traveled, been many places on the globe, which is awesome, right? And in the midst of, probably the most horrific thing that we've had to deal with on a national stage or global stage since the pandemic is this war. Right. And you're able to come in here to the United States, set back up, never miss a beat and keep moving. You are a testament to what is possible
Natasha.
in business and life. So Natasha, hats off to that because that's not easy things to do and yet still be so joyous and so happy and loving what you do. So that is a testament to what is possible with a positive outlook, I got to say.
Positive outlook. Thank you so much, because that's definitely what I've had since I was a little girl. And I even remember thinking, how can I just take this optimism that I have and this view of life and help other people feel the same way? And sometimes people who are saying, I'm a realist, and they're saying it with such pride that, oh, those optimists, they have their pink glasses on. No, I'm a realist. And I always wanted to tell them, well, it's just really helpful when you have this view, not pink glasses. No, of course, we are smart people. But
right.
still look at it. Look at the bright side. It's just really good for your health. Well, honestly, physical health and mental health. But honestly, when you're saying this, I have to be truthful. The first couple days, I was almost not really paralyzed. I shouldn't be so dramatic, but I was just sitting and watching the news. The whole 2 or 1.5 or 2 days, I was just there and I couldn't think of anything else, couldn't do anything else. Then I got better, but still the first 2 weeks, it was hard for me to concentrate on work. So I was struggling and I was procrastinating. And for those of you who are also procrastinating and maybe are beating yourself up because of that, you have to think, okay, is there something that maybe you're going through? Because my mentor said to me, be kind to yourself, that you're going through a lot. And I was beating myself up because I thought, well, I need to get the job done. I need to work. I need to make money so I can help Ukraine, so I can help my family. So just do the work. But I couldn't do any work for kind of 2 weeks. I did, but it was hard. I kept procrastinating it because, you process things, and whoever's listening, you might be going through your own stuff and whatever that is. And that's why you're procrastinating, because your mind is maybe not ready. So be kind to yourself.
Takeaway number 3, people.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's absolutely beautiful advice.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that your business ended up to be called ChangeView.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, seriously,
talk about a brand.
Talk about a brand. And one of my favorite quotes in the world is from Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yes.
And Natasha is like such beautiful living proof of that statement, probably better than I have ever seen.
Yes, agreed. Well, I was going to ask you, how do you feel like your personal brand has helped you in business? But it's almost like it's just so apparent.
It's pretty transparent.
Yeah. Number one, it's a fantastic brand, because it's ChangeView Academy. And but you want to tell the listeners a little bit about what that means and what some of the process that you go through with your clientele?
Oh, do you want me to tell them how I came up with the name, with the brand, or what I do, how the process that I take? Because there's an interesting story how I actually came up. Because remember, I was creating an online school for China. So I was thinking about the word that would sound good in English and good in Chinese, or a couple of words. And there's a word, chengju, that means accomplish. Or achieve goal. And it sounded, and I was looking and change view. And because I also would love for people to change their view sometimes when they have the wrong mindset. We work a lot on mindset, even in presentation skills and any kind of personal development. So that is changing your view, even having limiting beliefs and then changing your opinion about that. So for me, this was perfect. But actually first I started with, is there a word in Chinese that I would like to adopt? So yes, that's how
That's a
ChangeView
good
was
story.
born.
That's a brilliant way of doing it.
That's a really good story, actually.
Yeah.
I know you're speaking our language here, because when we build brands for people, we deal a lot with that. Like we look at what do they mean, and alliteration and rhyme, and like we look at a lot of different factors that will stick in the mind.
Right.
And,
in your case, familiarity,
things like that. So no, it's not lost on us that you started even with a Chinese word that ended up fitting perfect with an English, combination of words that now makes a brand that explains to your people what you do. So no, that's not lost on us at all. That's fantastic.
That's powerful.
Very powerful. And clearly you're doing something that we teach all the time, literally breathing your brand all the time. You are the epitome of the brand. Just by the few minutes that we've been talking right now, when you would say to somebody, well, I'm ChangeView Academy, I'm the founder of ChangeView Academy, it's very apparent why that would fit you so perfectly, because you're that eternal optimist that we are too. So we love,
We do.
it's so vitally important to business, I think, and a good, positive, healthy life. Because if you don't have all of that, you don't have anything. You can make all the money in the world, and if you die in your 40s, you haven't really accomplished anything. It's so sad, I would rather be broke and have the longevity of a joyous life, but ideally, if we can have it all, why would we not do so? So.
Yes, absolutely. For me, it's unimaginable. I can't imagine how people can live their life being pessimists and be satisfied with that. I think it's okay if you're a pessimist, but if you have an idea, if you want to change something, you can. But to be a pessimist, to just look at everything and see the negative and be okay with that, I can't imagine.
No, me either.
Not in our DNA.
Absolutely. And speaking about DNA and about branding, because when I interviewed you for my podcast, I asked you about this because it's really interesting, company brand and personal brand. And what's interesting, several years ago, I decided I'm going to focus on my personal brand. And my personal brand, since I'm a marathoner, I'm a runner, I decided that I'm going to connect these ideas, connect my habit, my love for running, and for speaking, and I already was focusing on this niche on presentation skills. So now this also worked so well and perfectly into what I do is I teach energy. I teach speaking energy and how to use also breathing and breath, and how to even practice your speeches while running. So I take this love of mine, this passion and habit of mine, and I connect it with public speaking and with presentation skills. And I even have it on my website and on my posts. A lot of times that's what I post on social media, so people know that I'm a marathoner. So that's how I developed my personal brand. You're an expert, so you can tell me if I'm doing it right.
Absolutely.
Yes, you nailed it. It's that awesome connection between professional and personal. And really a great brand has to mesh those two together to make it work, because
it does.
People don't do business with a logo, they do business with a person, as you well know, right?
And as it fits to you too, the another takeaway would be we teach that a great brand doesn't just change the way people view you, it changes the way you view yourself. And I think that is so important, because living and breathing your brand every day is really what continually makes you attractive to those ideal customers that you're looking for. And then you're not chasing success anymore, it's coming to you. And it's a totally different feeling. A lot of us go a long time before we begin to figure that out. I went 20 plus years before in business. I began to quit chasing business, and then business started chasing me. And it all centered around living and breathing that brand. It did.
Yeah.
And as part of our program, we like to ask 5 very important questions about your personal brand. So if it's okay with you, we want to ask you these questions.
Of course.
We're going to do it Jay Leno style, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
And one of the things that we want to say to the people listening is think about your own answers to these questions as Natasha goes through these, because she undoubtedly knows them. She has a super strong personal brand, but think about these and think if you know them or not. And then remember, just because you know, it's not enough just to know, you have to show. Okay. So we'll get to that in a minute, but Absolutely. Natasha, all right. Question number 5 is, who do you serve? Who are your ideal customers?
My ideal customers are entrepreneurs and executives. Entrepreneurs, I would say coaches and course creators. Executives, these would be CEOs, top managers, directors, and vice presidents.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Number 4, how do you serve them?
I help them improve, actually give stunning, powerful presentations. So I help them first get rid of any nervousness and fear of public speaking. I help them build confidence, create a very clear message, and then deliver it with persuasion and with power.
Gosh, I love it.
I love it. Number 3, what qualifies you to serve them?
Ooh, I have been doing this for almost 15 years. So that qualifies me. I've been teaching presentation skills and public speaking skills. And now I have clients from more than 20 countries. I'm also a president of the Toastmasters Club in New York and have a lot of amazing testimonies of people who I helped. One of them actually had a tachycardia before she started working with me, when she needed to go live and present. And after working with me, she now creates videos on Instagram almost every day. It's just this little Instagram star of mine.
That is great.
What a great story.
All right, now this one sounds a little bit superfluous, but I'm really excited about your answer. How does it make their life better?
Yes, it definitely makes their life better because, first of all, even if they don't need to present on a stage or present at a meeting, it gives them confidence. It helps them know that they can do it. And it helps them become just a confident person in communication, in conversations, in building relationships. But of course, it helps them professionally because they can present, they can speak, they can take their message. If these are coaches, course creators, take their message and then bring it out into the world, share, change the world. A lot of these are authors or aspiring authors. So they can speak, and the more people in the world will know and their lives will be changed. So basically, their dreams can come true. And I know a lot of people that I work with, they are mission driven. So they have this dream of, well, let's say this trivial, maybe it's not trivial, but overused phrase, change the world. But that's true. We all want to do something incredible in the world, to add, to transform, to just make it better. And most people that I work with, talk with, and friends are friends with, then they are like those people. They want to change it.
And that's another takeaway. Surround yourself with the people that you want to surround yourself with every day, the people that inspire you, right?
I love that.
All right. Question number 1. We're down to number 1 now. What sets you apart from others in your industry?
My energy. my energy is my superpower. And it doesn't mean that you need to have the same energy as me, whoever's listening. I always say you have your own energy and you've got to define it. I even defined these. I have the categories of 4 different speaking energies. But what you need to understand is, if you are quiet and introverted, that is your superpower. That is your speaking energy. Mine is like this. And a lot of people come to me and they say, you have an awesome energy, and they want me to fire up their audience. They want me to do a workshop for them when it's 4 hours and nobody even notices how those 4 hours just went by. So this is my superpower. That's what I use. But it's really important to know and to then utilize it, and without first defining and understanding what you're really great at. And it's sometimes when people think about this, what defines you, or what makes you different, right? I can't remember exactly how you worded it. And they are thinking, oh, it has to be something absolutely unique. Not necessarily, because I have a coach, a business coach, who's also a friend, and she's the same energy as me, very similar. And it's also something that sets her apart. And it's good because we're still different personalities, but we have this one thing that makes us different from the majority. So the same for you who is listening. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something absolutely unique, that nothing like that exists in the world.
That's true.
Takeaway number 5.
That's right. That's right.
And that is a fantastic one too.
It really is a fantastic one. You know, you don't, just because you can have the same superpower as someone else, right?
Sure.
But everything else about you is unique. And that's where your own story of why you have that superpower is so powerful.
That's
right?
absolutely right.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
how
I
you
learned
use
it.
it.
I learned it as an auctioneer. Like, as auctioneers, we try to imitate other auctioneers that are around us, and we literally try to do it. Any musicians out there, you know the same thing. You listen to a guitarist, you try to mimic that guitarist, but you learn over time that you can be as good as Eddie Van Halen, but you cannot be Eddie Van Halen, right? You bring your own uniqueness to it, and it becomes yours, even if you start off copying somebody else. So that's a really good point.
It sure is.
Very good point.
It sure is.
Natasha, tell the listeners how any prospects can reach you if they want to work with you, or if they have questions for you.
You can reach me on all social media, or the easiest way to go to natashabazilevych.com. That is my website. And you can even download the free video course. It's Public Speaking 101 video course that I gift to everybody. I used to sell it, but now I just give it to people. And of course, on social media, I'm most active on my personal Facebook page. So that's where I live and breathe. But I'm definitely on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So I'm sure that you guys will have the links in the
We'll
Yes,
put it
we
in the
will.
show notes. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, Natasha, you are a breath of fresh air. You are so lovely.
Every time we talk to
And
you.
we're so grateful to have you on. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I was coming to an end of this interview and I was thinking, oh, I need to hang out with these guys more. It's so much fun to talk to you. Such a great
We would
energy.
love that. Yes.
Anytime.
absolutely.
You bet. You bet. You just name it.
Thank you so much. Yes.
You bet. You bet. All right, guys, if you're ready to take your brand to the next level, Michael and I want to help you. Just
We do.
go to discussyourbrand.com. You're going to fill out a short form there. That's going to give us some more information about you, so we're better prepared for the call on our side. Choose your date and time to speak with our team of experts. BrandFace is the most comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe. We've got your back, people. All you have to do is take the first step. Discussyourbrand.com.
That's right, folks. And in the meantime, hit that subscribe button. You do not want to miss any more Natasha's. You don't want to miss these things. These will change your life. They're transforming, I promise you, because they are to us. And that's why we want to bring that to you. All right. Listen, we know it's all about prosperity, folks. And we know at BrandFace, prosperity favors the bold. So we say be bold, especially with your brand. And talk to Natasha about your energy. She'll fix it.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on Be Bold Branding.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.